Okay, here's a little bit more of a detailed overview of what's required for academic study skills. So from iLearn, you will download work booklets. So for outcome 1, you will download this work booklet number 1. And you fill in the details. It gives you the criteria of what it is that you're going to do. And if I scroll down, you will see that you have to fill in based on the topic of research. So if you've picked something on the differences in judicial systems from another class, then that will be your topic. You would fill it in here. Okay, and then you would just go through answering each question in detail based on that topic. Now, because it's research, you'll be looking up different sources. So therefore, you will perhaps use different textbooks, the internet, journals, whatever it is. And you need to take a note of that. So for every source that you use, you would fill it in here. So the type of source, if it's a website, the title and author in here, the date of the website or the book, the URL, that's just the web address, it's a website, and the details on it, why it's relevant. So a good couple of sentences in here about why that particular source is relevant. You need at least 4 sources. Okay, so there's plenty of space for you to fill in a variety of different sources that you use. Continuing on, you have to fill in the study plan. So you would put in the number of week you started and the date that was. So week 1, let's say if this was something you were doing for Stacey's class, you started back in February, then it might be 2nd of February 2026, and the activity that you carried out. There are examples of this in the iLearn outcome areas. Okay, so if you go back in there, go into iLearn, you'll see examples of a study plan to give you an idea of what's expected. And then scroll down and you've got to fill in the log sheet, a little bit more detailed from what you've just filled in above. It wants you to comment on how did you get on with that particular thing that you were doing on that particular date. Okay, so you have to fill that in as well. Continues on. Lots of space for you to write in your logs. Okay, so that's booklet 1 and that gets uploaded to the assignment 1 area on iLearn. Let me find the second booklet, which is this one. I'll go back to the start. So booklet 2, I'll scroll down. Again, it tells you what it is you have to do in here. So basically you are planning a report that you're going to write. Now again, maybe you've wrote this report for Stacey in another class. That's absolutely fine. You can use that one. But here you still need to fill in the planning sheet based on that report. Okay, so fill in, answer all of these boxes. Then this is how to write your report, as in how to structure it, how to lay it out. Okay, so this is all the information. And then this is an example of how to lay out a report. So again, if you wrote something for Stacey or in another class that you're going to use, that's absolutely fine, but it must be in this layout. So you would use this. So you'd open up a Word document, and in the first page, you would have the title, your name, the date, and a lecturer's name. That's your front cover. Then on the next page of your Word document, you would have a contents page. Then you would have an introduction. You just fill in the blanks, okay? Then you'd have a terms of reference. This is new to a lot of people. However, basically, just fill in the bits that are in brackets again. Put your details in there. Now, the the procedures area, you delete what you haven't used. So most people will have use the internet, so you'd use that one. If you didn't use newspapers and magazines, you would delete it. The same as leaflets. However, if you did use something else, like maybe you interviewed somebody or it was journals or textbooks, you would add it into the procedures area. Okay. Here is a findings area. So this is all the information that you type up about the research that you've done. It goes into the findings sections. This is likely to be around about 700 words long. Then you would write your conclusion. You'd put in any appendices that you have. So you'd label them Appendix 1, Appendix 2, and make sure it links to whatever you have in your findings for it. And you would include a reference list, and that must be in Harvard referencing layout, please. Okay. There is a check sheet to make sure you've done everything you have to do, so please go through and make sure you've done it all, tick it off. Before I move on, so for the report that you've typed up, it actually gets handed in another area. I will show you that, but keep the report separate for now. Okay. Then in this workbook too, you are going to prepare an oral presentation based on what we've just done for your research report. And again, you just fill in the boxes based on what it's asking you. Okay, so you're preparing a presentation. All right, this is you planning the presentation. So fill it in here what you're going to do. Once you've completed all of that in booklet 2, that gets uploaded to iLearn. I'll just go in here to show you. So we're in the assignments area. So booklet 1 would go into outcome 1, booklet 2 goes in here to outcome 2, and the report that I told you goes in separately is in here. Okay, so make sure that happens. So workbook 1, report, workbook 2. Then we've got 3 and 4 to look at. So for workbook 3, again, fill it in, scroll down, it tells you exactly what you have to do. And this is all about good research. All right, so you pick a topic, let's say it's on plastics that you want to do practice research on for this. And you're going to browse 3 different sources that you get the information from. Okay, you're going to take notes, you're going to take details on all the different authors, titles, websites, addresses, etc. All that kind of thing. Because you're going to rate them. Okay, so the different sources that you've used, you're going to rate them from 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the lowest, on all of these things that you see here. Okay, so you'll do that for your first source, your second source, and your third source. Rate them. Okay, all based on the topic that you picked there. Let's say it was plastics. And then you answer the questions, which one gets the highest score, why did it meet your needs, you'd fill that in there. And then there's a section on plagiarism. Okay, so again, you have to fill in this information here. It goes all the way down to number 5, and there's also a little guide to help you. You need to click on there. We now have an exercise that you have to do. So these are basically references that are all jumbled up. You have to sort it out and lay it out in Harvard referencing layout. So for example, it would be the author that we're looking for first of all. So we want surname, and then comma, space, initial, full stop, and then the year in brackets, then the title in italics, and then the place of, first of all, the edition number, and then the place it was published, colon, name of publisher, full stop. All right, so you need to do that for each of those. Make sure you get the good Harvard referencing layout. And then it has some plagiarism questions. Fill all that in. Then we're on to part 3, summarizing skills. It's going to show you an article below. There it is. There's your article. You read through this article and then and then summarize what it's about in approximately 100 words. And that's booklet 3, and that gets uploaded to the outcome 3 assessment area on iLearn. Let's have a look at outcome 4. That's booklet 4. So in here, again, fill it in, scroll down, tells you what we're supposed to be doing in here. And basically, it's an evaluation, right? You're writing an evaluation between 200 and 300 words on your research project. So again, let's say, for example, it was on different judicial systems. Then you are evaluating it. You're basically going through and answering these questions when you're evaluating, but you're writing it up in sentences and paragraphs and not just answering the questions. Okay, so we do want it 200 to 300 words in sentences and paragraphs, not just answering questions. And again, that would be uploaded here to outcome 4 assessment area in iLearn. Hopefully that helps.